You're listening to 93.1 FM, Rise Up with your host, Chi-Chi. I'm at Collected Works Bookstore on Wellington Street off Holland with Deux Voiliers Publishing. Next week on Friday, June 1st, from 7 to 9 p.m. They'll be having their first open house, so do come in, join. I'm with Ian Shaw, Steve Bennett, and Chris Turner, all local writers in the Ottawa region. So I have a few questions here for all three of you writers. Steve, I've actually started reading your book, The Last of the Ninth, and I'm very impressed with the imagery and the writing and the diction. It's amazing. So can you tell us a little bit more about this book, the synopsis, and what gave you the idea to write it?
Sure. No, thanks very much. I'm glad you're reading it. Well, it's a book of historical fiction. It's set in the Roman Empire in the 2nd century. You've seen the movie Gladiator, which is set in the reign of Marcus Aurelius, at the end of his reign. This one is set right at the beginning when Marcus Aurelius first comes into power. At any rate, it's a story of an agent of the Roman Imperial Secret Service called the Frumentari, which means the corn collectors in Latin, and there's a whole story behind that. Anyway, this man is set on a quest to find another agent who's missing, and is missing in the context of a battle that takes place in the eastern part of the empire, where a Roman legion is destroyed. And so, I mean, that's essentially the basic part of the story. There's a ghostly element. There's a ghost in the story, and if you've seen the cover, there's this kind of rather intimidating-looking centurion glaring out of the pages at you. This is our ghost, or one of them, perhaps. I won't tell you the story, but so that's the essence of the story. And the way I got into it was, I've always been kind of a history geek with fascination for many periods of history, but at the time I started writing this, I was living in Jordan, and I was reading a lot of classical history and history about the Roman Empire in about this period, a biography of Marcus Aurelius. Anyway, I used to go out to this 3rd century Roman fort that's out in the desert there. It's not a very well-known place even to Jordanians, but it's there, and it's probably the best preserved fort of its type in the world. It's really all there. I mean, you go to other places, you'll find just foundations, but here you've got the walls, the corner turrets. There's a little inscription to Emperor Diocletian over the gate. Anyway, I used to sit up there with a coffee and read books, and all by myself all day long. But you're out in the desert by yourself. It gets a bit spooky sometimes, and there was one of these towers that had skeletons in the bottom. I explored them all, of course, in my curiosity, and I encountered these skeletons, and obviously they were put there by people long past, possibly passing Arabs, or I don't know, but anyway, it got my imagination working on a story that might involve the Roman army and have some kind of ghostly element to it, and so that's what got me thinking along the lines that ended up as this book, Last of the Ninth.
Nice. And how has your experience been with Deux Voiliers Publishing?
Well, very good. I encountered Ian. We're colleagues from work for many years, and I had initially published my work on a self-publishing site called Smashwords, which will publish books electronically. So it's out. The book went out as an e-book, and Smashwords then distributes it to a number of the major book distributors like Chapters and Barnes & Noble and so on. But Ian saw a message about the publication that I sent around to some of my colleagues, and since we were sort of working independently, we knew each other, but we didn't know what we were doing, and so he called me and we got together, and we started to talk about bringing my book into the Deux Voiliers fold, and hence now it's electronically published, but also published in paperback with Deux Voiliers.